Hello and welcome everyone. This is your astrology forecast for full moon in Aries. It happens on the 29th of September. But before we start with the energies of this full moon, I just want to say something about our Moon Omens Instagram page, because we received many emails and questions on every platform, everywhere, asking us about what happened with our Instagram page. So I just wanted to announce you that now we have created temporary solution, but we'll see what happens next, because it is suspended because Instagram decided that way. We don't know actually why, really, but it is suspended and there are people working on it to be solved. And until it becomes solved, we have a Moon Omens backup Instagram page, so you can go there until we have some other solution, because this will be the Moon Omens official backup. It is Moon Omens backup all together. And you probably already know that we have many fake Moon Omens pages on Instagram, and they are not suspended, but the real and authentic one is suspended, which is very, interesting, so to say, but that's how it works. And we will see where it leads us next. But until then, you can also check our website, which is actually much richer in content probably than our Instagram page. So I highly recommend you all visit our Moon Omens website, and you can there subscribe to our newsletter and receive daily affirmations and all other material that you are used to receive on your Instagram page. So that is just what I wanted to share before we start this. So until then, the only Instagram page that is valid right now is Moon Omens backup. The official Moon Omens page is currently suspended, but let's hope for the best and see what happens in the future. And now I would love to welcome you again to this full moon in Aries energy, which is very powerful, because Aries is the first sign. It's the sign of new beginnings. And even though this is full moon, and full moons bring endings and culminations and things that come to a head, and interesting things come to a head, and Aries does represent a head, so some things will definitely come to a head, and we will have enough of something. There is an urgent need for something to be changed, and it will be urgent, because Aries is hot-tempered. It's ruled by Mars, the god of war, and we are definitely pushed into some change that has to happen, and we are in eclipse season, so we are initiated into this huge life-changing energy, and we may be rushing ahead with this full moon, but there is something that needs to be completed first, so that something new can begin, as always with any of these cycles. But full moon in Aries is actually new beginning, while full moon can bring endings. So these two combined definitely bring significant endings and beginnings. And questions will be very important, warrior-like questions, big questions, questions of free will, questions of who am I, questions of why am I, where am I, where do I come from, where do I go, where did I come from initially as an idea, as a sparkle, as a flame, because Aries rules all these things. The initiation, the pioneering energy, something that comes first. And we know that when we are born, our head comes first. So this is, the first breath of air, the incarnation, and the need to be born, the need to birth something, to give birth to something. So we will be faced with some things that will show us what is the ultimate divine law of free will, and we will be given options. We will have choices, which is very important, and we will have to make certain decisions. we cannot delay or postpone anymore. We have to make some decisions, but we have to also be aware of limitations. So we have to be aware of limitations and free will at the same time. And we always have choices. That is something that is out of the question. We always have choices, and our choices create karma. And this is why our choices are very important, because we are the ones who create or recreate our karmic paths. This is duality world. We choose between good or bad, old or new, and we learn and grow through these polarities. But there is a range between good and bad. There is a ray, and we can choose different ranges of this ray. We have a ray and then different ranges, so we are choosing different tonalities. We can go downward or upward, and these energies are actually running through us. And there is a lot of heat, a lot of fire, a lot of dynamic energy, and this is energy of warrior, of pioneers, assertive, action-oriented energy. And this is about the strength and bravery and boldness. And we are asking ourselves questions. How can I face my fears to evoke courage? These are the warrior questions. And the ruling planet Mars is in Libra. It's in the opposite sign. And there is a square with Pluto, and there is a position with the North Node. And Pluto, we know, is the lord of the underworld. Pluto is making huge transformations and changes when touched in our chart, and when touched in these transits. So globally, there are big changes there. So this square with Pluto in the position with the North Node in Aries can create a lot of tension. And it can be hard and intense, it can be challenging, it can be uncomfortable, but not bad. Let's remember, this is not something that is bad. This is just something that is uncomfortable. And these are, Mars and Pluto, these are planets of extremity, extremes, transformations. This energy can feel tense and stressful if we allow it. And we will be seeing drama on the world stage, probably, but in people's lives too. And Pluto is planet of transformation, trying to transform and to bring out a lot of woundedness. Inner hell is being brought up in order to transmute it in something else. And we can convert, from dark to light, and because of this, extremes may be seen. And this is about, Aries can be also about the competition, the survival of the fittest. And these are reactive places within us. So we can be very emotionally reactive, highly emotionally reactive, very quick to react. Because Aries and Mars, very quick energy, and full moon brings up a lot of emotions, a lot of hidden emotions too. Because full moon brings to light things that have been hidden. Things that have been in the darkness, things that have been avoided, things that have been ignored or neglected. So they come out to the surface and they become seen and acknowledged, and they need to be adjusted. So we will be facing some of these extremes for sure. And some of us may feel like we have to survive at all costs. And we can see some dark sides of these archetypes now in the world and in people around us or within ourselves as well. So egocentric warrior energy can also be activated. Selfishness can be activated, and we have an opportunity to transform this, to transform untreated ego into developed ego. We have to do a reparenting of our ego. We are not supposed to get rid of ego, but we are supposed to make it serve us. But not to be servants of the ego, but to put ego in the role of the servant of us, conscious beings, and then to use it appropriately, not to allow ego to use us. We are mostly used and abused by ego energy, but now we are going to be faced with it and we will see what can we do in order to put ego in our service and to use it, not to abuse it again. So we may face some resentment along the way as well, and fights, and a realm of duality between light and dark will be recognized in our emotional world now too. Attraction and repulsion, and like attracts like. So we will see what we attract. We will see what we don't want to attract, but we still attract it, because this is something that is still within ourselves, but it's on the subconscious level. So what we suppress, we attract as well. And this is something that I often mention because it's very important, because people think, but if I attract what I am, how can I then attract bad things? But we suppress bad things, we don't want to see them, so then we attract those things because we deny them and ignore them, we don't accept them. And what we don't accept, we attract, because the life wants us to see what we deny, what we ignore, so that we can acknowledge it and enlighten our head, bring light into it. Aries, the fiery sign, the light, enlightening the head, Aries again. So we can enlighten our mind now. And we have to see what are we comparing and where are we comparing ourselves with others. What is the intention behind these comparings? Are we comparing our knowledge with others? Are we comparing our beauty with others? Are we comparing our expressions with others? Are we comparing our achievements? What are we comparing, and to what extent? Or are we just focused on our work, on our creativity, on our expression? And how can we use healthy competitive energy? How can we be competitive in a healthy way? Because we can be inspired by someone, or we can inspire others now. We can encourage or be encouraged. They can empower or be empowered. This would be the higher octave of Aries full moon energy. Healthy, pioneering energy of Aries, watching others in order to inspire us, not watching others in a way to feel defeated by them or to feel better or worse, but to feel inspired, to find something that inspires us, and something that reminds us of good things, something that inspires us to do something good instead of comparing and falling into jealousy, perhaps. So there is new awareness about what we need and who we are. And there is this sense of self that is very strong. After all interactions with others, we eventually always come back to ourselves. This is the most important relationship we have in our whole existence, the relationship with who we are. And this is the long-term relationship. This is the longest relationship in our life. We cannot leave ourselves. We cannot say, I break up with myself. We cannot do this. We are forced to make peace with ourselves. So life is continuously pressuring us and pushing us into situations that are inspiring us to make peace with ourselves. So whenever something happens, something uncomfortable, something that we are afraid of, something that we are terrified of, it's again a pressure point that reminds us of the most important relationship that we have, which is the relationship with ourselves. So we are now returning back to who we are, to what we need and what is correct with our energy. And this we have spent so much time with others, and we are now also in this Libra season where we are interacting with others, but this full moon in Aries really shows us this need. After interacting with others, we need to come back to ourselves. We need to come back home to who we are. And, what do I need? Who am I? After all these connections and interactions, when I come back to myself, what do I really need? So we will be asking these questions too, while partnering with others, of course, because Mars is in Libra. And it's not, we cannot give everything to everyone, and there will be a huge reminder of this too. We shouldn't go into overdoing, overgiving, over-providing, because these extremes will be heightened. Mars square Pluto. We have to make sure we are balancing our needs and listening to what we need. And it can feel like it's easier to do things for other people than to come to ourselves and listen to ourselves. And of course, this is what majority does. We go into those relationships most of the time and we forget to connect with ourselves. We forget to nurture relationship with ourselves. And then we fall into these codependencies. We fall into those emotional attachments. We fall into all kinds of unconscious emotional blackmails. And because it's so much easier to spend time with others, to have a conversation, to have someone we can compare with. But there is time when we have to truly come back to ourselves and nurture who we are. And it may be hard for some people, because suddenly maybe some people will suddenly be on their own. Suddenly someone who they are used to have there all the time as their partner or friend or whoever, who is one-on-one with them all the time, suddenly this person may be unavailable, and we will have to go through something on our own. But this is crucial, this is very important, because we have to walk through this alone, whatever it is. Of course, I'm not saying go purposefully all alone by yourself and detach from others, but if this happens, just accept it. Let's accept that we have to walk through something alone. We cannot always have someone that we have to call and communicate about with. And this is also true for people who are sick of being alone, for example, because they haven't developed then this relationship with themselves. If they are sick of being alone, then they are probably living in a constant agony of searching for someone to talk to, someone to share experiences with. So this full moon in Aries is truly a powerful, blissful and enlightening energy that shows us that we definitely can survive some things on our own. And this is what gives us strength, courage, boldness, and all other higher expressions of Aries. Our assertiveness, our self-confidence, our trust in ourselves, trust in who we are, trust in being here. We are, the unique gift of God, the unique gift of the divine, because I am who I am and nobody else is like me. I am unique. There is no one like me in the world. There is no one like you other, but each of us very unique expression of that monad, of that divine energy, and we all have a special unique role to play. And we can refuel ourselves now. We can refuel ourselves, because Aries and Mars can also be the fuel. And we are refueling ourselves, we are tuning up, we are fueling up what we need. And we are definitely making sure that we have enough gas in our tank, so that we are not giving it all to others or sacrificing ourselves. So let's, fill that tank with gas, enough gas that we will need, definitely. We will need to take action, we will need to make decisions, we will have to move forward, we will have to take initiative for something, to initiate something. And we are going to face some things now that are, like resentment or bitterness. And we will be asking ourselves, am I getting back what I need? And if not, what can I do? This is the courage to hear ourselves. We are going to feel the courage to hear ourselves and to trust our gut, to trust our own impulse, to trust what we want and need, and to be mindful of what we do and how we act in the world. And Mars here has a conversation with Pluto, and we may see things that we want but can't have, and there could be some frustration about it. And this is, something that happens generally in life. We are always wanting something that we can't have. It's like a program of this realm. So we are constantly searching for something, hunting something, trying to catch something. Like Aries, there is a myth of Jason and Argonauts, the ram, the golden fleece of the ram. And what they were looking for wasn't really the material fleece, golden fleece of the ram, but that is actually metaphorically that golden spark, that essential enlightened self. This is what we are all looking for, and this full moon in Aries will definitely inspire that motivation within ourselves, inspire us and give us more willingness to search for that golden fleece, to search for it really, to dig deeply. And there is a desire to start something new, and this desire can actually be very, very motivating for us. Like if we have felt stagnant, if we have felt asleep, now this full moon says, like, truly just wake up. Actually, it doesn't say wake up, it just wakes us up. We cannot be sleeping anymore. We cannot even pretend to be sleepy anymore. There is something that we definitely have to do, and it's something that only you can do. It's something that only I can do. I cannot ask anyone else to do it for me. I cannot delay it. I just have to do it. And it can feel like do or die energy, but we will definitely do it. And we are definitely initiating something, so we will see what are our priorities and what are our commitments, what are our duties that we cannot ignore. That is something that we definitely have to take care of, and we will see how some weak spots become strong now. We will see how taking care of ourselves and coming back into who we are and what we need brings us back to that inspiration, and brings us back to that need and desire to transform fears into courage. And we definitely become more aware of our own energy now. We are definitely more aware of what we can provide, and we are going to take responsibility for that energy, for my own energy, for your own energy. Everyone has to do it on their own, and we have to stay clear in that energy, that uniqueness, and we have to find our own stability, to find our own equilibrium. Mars is in Libra. Libra is the sign of equilibrium. The Sun is in Libra as well, equilibrium. And we also now have Chiron, the wounded healer, in the game. Chiron, the wounded healer, is in Aries, and Mars is opposing Chiron. And there is a lot of healing involved in this story as well. So all this is also pushing us on our healing journey, and we can maintain this balance, and we can feel strong and clear in who we are. So we will see how that works. But Pluto, this square with Pluto can, bring some kind of destruction. So something needs to be destroyed in order for something to be created. But there is also construction. Pluto is destruction and construction and regeneration, and throwing away what is not necessary anymore. So we have to improve something in our life, and Pluto will help us do it. So we can take our time to decide what's changing in our life, but not too much time. We have to see what we are replacing and who we are replacing, with what and with who in our life. And some things and some people will definitely be replaced now and in the next couple of months. and years, because this full moon in Aries, even though it's not eclipse, we will be faced with a couple of eclipses in the next 18 months that will be happening in Aries and in Libra. And next month we have new moon solar eclipse in Libra, and this will be again connected with this energy of this full moon in Aries. So we have to make sure that decisions that we are making now are not impulsive decisions, not snap decisions, because we will have a tendency to make some snap decisions now, because Mars represents reflexes, impulsive reactions, quick decisions. So we have to think about what we're going to do and say and decide, and our decision will have very significant influence in our life for our future. And there is a strong emotional influence on our decisions as well. We will be making decisions based on our emotional state of being. So when we are emotional, we are not very much rational. We have to all agree on this. So we have to be aware of this and prepare for this. Because if we are too emotional, we are definitely not rational. The key would be to stand truly in who we are, to stand, to be, to feel as if we are on the holy ground, being in our bodies, and to truly wake that feeling of I am that I always speak about when I speak about Aries, because this is the main mantra of Aries archetype is I am. And we will see that something may go wrong around us in our field, but something that we are not responsible for. And it could be something that is completely out of our control, like storms and crazy weather, or demonstrations or protests, or any kind of situations that we don't have control of. And we will have to adapt to certain circumstances and to see how we deal with those things now as an individual, as who I am. And we will be we will be focused a lot on our health and healing because of this Chiron in Aries, this primal wound of identity that I spoke of before in our videos when I speak about Aries. And this healing can actually touch many different areas of healing: financial healing, emotional healing, psychological healing, physical healing, all kinds of healings. And some wounds will definitely be exposed, especially because of this square with Pluto. And we have to be conscious, we have to be careful, we have to take care, we have to avoid getting trapped in something that we don't want to. This full moon is making us more emotional, so we can make some decisions that we may regret later when this heat of emotions goes a little bit down. So we have to think of the reasons why are we facing situations that we don't like. Why is this situation in front of me? Why am I facing something that I don't like? There are karmic reasons, there are spiritual reasons, there are all kinds of reasons, but asking a question is more important actually than receiving answer, because when we ask ourselves this question, we immediately see the situation from different perspective. And we immediately detach from feeling too identified with what is happening in front of us or what is happening to us. So we have to truly think of those reasons. Why are we facing situations that we don't like? When we ask ourselves these questions, we will see things from very different perspective, slowly but surely. And sometimes it's better when we don't know something, but we are definitely going to be faced with those big questions. And there are new ideas that will come that will reshape our life. And all of this is actually starting to redirect us into something that is much better for us, something that we've been wanting for a long time. But it can seem not really good at the beginning, but we will see that this is actually what we've been wanting, what we've been needing. And synchronicities will be very strong also. So we have to keep our eyes open and see, in order to see those dreams that we dream of, because dreams that we dream of will become much clearer to us. And this full moon allows us to start something important and new. And we are preparing for something that is big in our life, for some big crossroad. And we have to embrace those changes in a positive way, but not in a fanatic positive way, but in a way that we see things differently. So we have to embrace these changes. We have to see what we want to store, what we want to hold and to reserve, and what we need to throw away. And we are taking these first steps into a new journey. This is emotional growth. And there is a strong emotional connection of starting something over, or starting something brand new. So we may be continuing something, and something that we are emotionally connected to, or we may be starting something new and cutting something that we thought we will be continuing with. And we have to be able to manage time, to build stability in places where we feel unstable, and to see what kind of contribution we would love to give to others and to ourselves. And we will face many challenges within our relationships. That is something we cannot avoid. Libra, Aries, Axis, it's all about you and me, you and I, and this is our one-on-one relationships, our one-on-one relationship with anyone. And all our one-on-one relationships will be triggered, and we may be triggered by someone significant in our life for us, and these triggers will push us into that place where we are going to really be faced with who we are, definitely. So this is we are going to see if we are too rooted in who we once were. Are we too attached to who we once were? So we will see those things too. Some kind of past can resurrect with in accordance to who we are identified with. And this can affect our image, our physical appearance, our identity, our looks, our style, our head, our physical body, our vitality, our individuality, our behavior. All these things. Aries is the first sign. Aries is the ascendant in natural zodiac. The first idea, the first thought. So we are going to see if we are doing the same exact thing as before. And of course, if we are doing the same, we will have the same results. So we have to find better way of doing things, and find something that works exactly for me, exactly for you, something that works precisely for each of us. So we will be able to find what that is, to find out what that is. And there is this ability to have time and freedom in order for us to achieve our authenticity. We have time and freedom. This is very important. Do we have time? Do we have enough time and enough freedom in order to feel ourselves, to make a connection with ourselves, to be in a relationship with who we are? So we are going to see, are we committed to things that are not right for me, for you, for him or her? So are those things that I'm committed to good things for me? Because what is good for me may not be good for you, and vice versa, because there is no such thing as, one rule for all. So we all have to find what is exactly right for me, for my taste, what is my taste of something. And something may be a great idea, but it may not be great for me or for you. Maybe it is for someone else. Maybe some amazing business idea won't work for you, but will work for someone else. And you did exactly the same as this person did, but you failed and this person succeeded. This is what shows us that each of us has a very unique, precise design for our soul's journey. And we shouldn't get frustrated. We definitely have to understand that there is a divine plan behind all of this. But it might be difficult to relax, but we are being pushed there. And we are taking pioneer steps, small steps. And it may feel hard to rest, as I said, but we have to prepare for many things, to do many things. We may be working overtime, and we will see what we don't need to do in our life anymore. This will actually help us to see what we don't need to do anymore. And we have to think about new beginnings, things that won't betray us. What is that thing that won't betray me? Things that give me stability, things that make me feel anchored. No matter, this is something that no matter what happens, I can always come back to this thing. I can always do this. No matter what happens, I will always have that one thing that is very unique and that only I can do. So we will see what is that thing. We will be given, clues and signs and synchronicities that will show us. No matter what, we will have this. We will see what that is. We have to have something safe, something sure, something reliable. And we will be able, to feel that boost of energy in that way, and to allow things that make us feel threatened or fragile or defeated to be gone. And this is, something that is very, very powerful. But, some things that have been swept under the carpet will be brought to light, as I said. Things that need to be seen and expressed and revealed. These are patterns in our life. Our patterns, things that we do in an obsessive way, things that we do in a compulsive way, things that we are not able to stop doing. We will see what these things are now. And we will see what is something that we definitely have to stop doing and what is something that we definitely have to continue with doing. And the challenge is about you. The challenge is about me. The challenge is about who am I. And this challenge will be very strongly felt now. The challenge about who am I. We have to do what is important for us. Do what is important for you. I do what is important for me. And we may not get, approval from everyone for this, but, only because we are not approved, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it, or it doesn't mean we should, remove these people from our life. We can think differently and still make great cohesion with others. And we will see many interesting things being triggered now, and it can be explosive. Mars and Aries, it can be explosive energy, and we will see where do we need to take our power, and to know when to push and when to listen, when to be loud, when to be quiet. Not always be expressive, not always be pushy, not always moving forward, but sometimes we have to, step back. As I said before in previous video of new moon in Virgo, the art of discernment. So this is still important, and this balance is very much needed. Mars is in Libra, the ruler of this full moon, and the Sun is in Libra, and we are in Libra season, so balance is definitely needed. And as I said, we shouldn't make decisions too quickly. We have to allow ourselves to have our own space, but allow others also their space. So we are going to see if we are engaged with life and how we are engaged with life. And we can light up others now with our own light, and we can feel lightened up by others' light too. We can illuminate this fire, the fire of Aries. We can illuminate it now, and we can feel if we are we are asking questions. Do I feel alive? Do I feel my fire burning? Do I feel the illumination of this? Am I able to lighten up myself? Am I able to lighten up another? Am I able to receive, to recognize light in others and to feel lightened up thanks to others? Am I able to be inspired by somebody, or am I rejecting everything, including the help and inspiration that can come from other sides? Because whatever we see, whatever we witness, whatever we experience, it definitely comes from our subconscious selves. It definitely comes from who we are. It's something in us. And we can keep getting lost in those illusions of something that is outside of ourselves, but we won't make any kind of progress by thinking that way. And this fire needs to be lit up. It needs to be always on, this fire of wisdom. And we will feel the heat. We will feel the heat, definitely. And if the heat comes up, it means it's ready to be transformed. And this heat can be heat of anger, heat of inspiration, heat of violence, or heat of whatever else. It doesn't matter which polarity it is, but we have to see, to recognize this heat, and if it comes up, it's ready to be transformed. It's ready to bring light. It's not, even the heat of anger can bring light because everything can be transformed. So this is fiery dance, dancing around the fire. Full moon in Aries, some ancient rituals were definitely, they definitely included and involved fire dancing. So this kind of symbology can be very powerful for all of us if we can somehow connect with the fire element in a more deep and profound way, to feel the initiating power of the fire that initiates us and that purges us, that purifies us. And we can use. There is another aspect with Mercury. Mercury makes a trine with Uranus and trine with Pluto, and Mercury is the planet of communication. So through conversations we can meet other people who can enlighten us in some way, who can give us some important information that illuminates us, or we could be the ones who do the same, or just through a mutual conversation we can reach some kind of liberation and understanding. But this is also about deep thoughts. Mercury trine Pluto, deep thoughts, profound thoughts, and with Uranus some awakening thoughts, liberating thoughts, revolutionary thoughts and ideas. So, and also information that can come to us. And this is personal revolution. It's Aries, it's personal. It's personal revolution, it's personal shift, it's personal transformation, it's something very personal. And the path of evolution starts in Aries. The path of involution starts in Libra. So the Aries, the first house, the ascendant, who we are, it's the first breath, it's the imprint of patterns. And these imprints of patterns may be shown to us now. They will be exposed. Our first breath imprints may be exposed now, and we will be able to see them. Our childbirth traumas, because Aries is newborn. It's something that is newborn, so our childbirth traumas as well, because the birth itself is trauma, and it's it's an initiation as well. It's the beginning of our journey, but it's also somehow the end of our journey. The beginning sets the tone for the ending, but essentially there is no such thing as the beginning and ending, where one thing ends, the other one begins. So there is a continuous flow. There are spirals within spirals, there are coils within coils, and we cannot really say when something begins and when something ends. I am, that thought, that feeling has no beginning or end, and neither do we. So when we are rooted in that statement, we are eternal. And this is something that this full moon truly evokes in us. And, full moons illuminate what's been previously hidden from our conscious mind. And there is this call for balance, and we will strongly feel it. So where the sun represents our ego and physical reality, the moon is symbolic of our inner world and emotional landscape. This is where the full moon helps us get clear on where there's been a possible disconnection, especially when it comes to our emotional and physical reality. So we will see where have we been disconnected. And Mars-ruled Aries is, it can be aggressive, it can be assertive, it can be combative, it can be action-oriented, it can be many things. And it's not only the first spark of life as the first sign of the zodiac that represents Aries, but it's also our sense of autonomy and individuality and independence. So we have to feel truly independent in who we are and with our needs and wants. We have to see what is driving us forward. What is my drive? What inspires me? And Mars is the planet of desire and passion, and Libra loves to seek another opinions through conversation, to be in the listening way, to reach compromises, to find inner peace. So we have to find balance between Mars and Libra. And Mars in Libra can be actually the reason of why we are undecisive about something, why we are skeptical about our new beginnings. So it may not all happen now, but very soon around this time of this full moon in Aries. And this Mars is also right next to the South Node, and South Node is karmic energy that we have to release, that we have to leave behind. South Node represents metaphorically the dragon's tail. So it's the past, it's something that we are dragging with us, something that we are attached to, that we have to detach from. And we have to see what no longer resonates with our spiritual journey. Mars in Libra next to this South Node will definitely show us what needs to be, removed. And this is something, again, that will be developing over the next 18 months. So it doesn't have to happen all right away, but we will see traces of it. And, we can see, if this person or relationship or situation or career is worthy of our time and energy. We will see if this is worthy of our time and energy. And this opposition between Mars and Chiron can also, trigger some feelings of vulnerability and resentment. But instead of, going back to those past triggers, this is a chance to rise above those past triggers, not to go back into them. And there will be another layer of disruption probably and unexpected surprises, but this can lead to something very good, to a new breakthrough. And Jupiter is also next to Uranus now. Jupiter, the planet of abundance, wisdom, prosperity, fortune. Jupiter, the guru, the teacher, next to the great awakener Uranus, supporting this change of plans, supporting our breakthroughs, supporting our need to do something new, to make something different, to feel rooted in who we are, to stand up for ourselves, to just feel and understand who am I when I remove from interactions with others. Who am I then? And this will be something that we didn't acknowledge before, and there is deeper contact with something that connects us with who we are, something sensitive, vulnerable, something that we are uncertain about. So this is these are emotional triggers that will emotionally trigger us, or that will get to us. So this is a very powerful moment for a healing journey, and Chiron now wants to contact us, wants to contact that place that says I am, and it helps us to own our authentic nature, not to feel alienated or pushed away. There is alternative path, and we are learning how to be more independent, more courageous, more understanding of who we are at our core energy. And we are going to ask, how can I expand my identity, and how can I deepen my awareness of who I am? We also suffer a lot because we are dissatisfied with who and how we think we are. And this is because we identify with our fears, we identify with our past traumas, we identify with our issues, we identify with our failures. So we suffer because we are dissatisfied with these things. And our most basic truth is that we are who we are. But we just don't know who we are, do we? And we relate, we identify with our thoughts and emotions many times instead of identifying with our soul selves. And in our state of being asleep in this reality, forgetting who we truly are, our limited perception creates fear and insecurities. And most of us struggle with being satisfied or dissatisfied with who we are, what we do, what we achieve, what we don't achieve, what time do we have, what do we do with our free time, and stuff like that. So when we live in this state of constant self-manipulation, we fall into denial and we get lost in this void instead of being conscious. And then our lives are run by subconscious habits and subconscious conditioning. So we are going to see how these patterns are created now. And our life is a very individual trip. We will see this individual trip now. And everyone is living in their own bubble of their own reality. So we will see this in our relationships with others too. We will see this more clearly now. And it's my job to acknowledge who I am. I am here to be understood by myself, not by others. but we continuously fall into this trap of wanting to be understood by others when we are not even understood by ourselves, and when we know that others don't understand themselves either. So how can they understand us? And how can someone understand me if I don't understand myself? So we are always searching for someone who will give us that that kind of feeling, that kind of safety, and that kind of relief, like, yes, thank you. But we have to be the ones who understand ourselves, not others. We are here for this. We are here for acknowledging that I am here. I am here to experience who I am. I am here to experience my personal reality, not yours, not his, not hers, but to experience who I am. This is my journey, my individual trip. And we will see that our reality is very much determined but by our moods, our thoughts, our feelings, our reactions, and everything that we pay attention to. And our greatest challenge is to truly be ourselves, free from influences of karmic limitations and karmic baggages, conditionings, subconscious limitations, free from those things, free from attachments, free from emotional blackmails, free from manipulations, free from need to be understood. This is a true challenge. We must focus on self-communication between my soul and my human self. And we can connect at the deeper level, where we can believe in ourselves and build self-confidence. We can truly step into that mode of being artists of our lives. And each of us is unique. There are no two humans that can be exactly the same. Not even, twins. No, it's not possible. So we have to be, to be grateful for our divine individuality. My personality is the gift of God. My personality is the gift of the creation. And, we have to play our part in this. And the biggest fight is the fight that happens within. This is something that we are now reminded as well. And Aries represents the self. So the goal of our inner Aries, the inner warrior, the first fire sign, is to use that fighting spirit to support ourselves, not to put ourselves down. And there is definitely something that will show us that this biggest fight is the fight that is happening within ourselves. The war we are fighting is inside our own mind. There is a battlefield. We are on the battlefield with our minds. We wrestle with this energy of our instincts, of our subconscious patterns and negative voice that we can hear. So our enemies are our inner, our inner anger, inner impatience, resentment, and frustrations, all those things. But we can convert them, we can transform. They are useful. They are purposeful. Enemies are very purposeful. They even serve us much better than our friends. And again, duality, friends and enemies, but they are all friends. Everyone, everything, and everyone helps us on this individual trip of our own journey. And we are we suffer from painful experiences of a child trying to live up to the expectations of an adult, and we are always running into that, and we find ourselves sabotaging ourselves with inappropriate reactions. So we will have an ability to express ourselves through appropriate reactions. And when we look at our inner conflict, we may not be so sure why are we so confrontational, and then this leads us to exhaustion, and we may feel burned out. Aries, fire, Mars, burned out, square with Pluto, opposition with Chiron, opposition with the North Node. All these things may feel us like we are burned out, and this this feeling of being burned out will actually help us to rise from that fire, to use those ashes to rise again, to be reborn, to feel newly born, Aries. To feel more whole in identity that is ready to be born. And the Aries, the ram. Aries, the ram, the archetype of the ram or the lamb, the sacrificial lamb, is something that will be strongly influenced now. And the presence of the soul of the solar god Ra in the world was believed to be embodied in the sacred rams of ancient Egypt. And priest kings used to wear their skins and heads as testimony of their divine communion with the solar source of all life. And there were those sacrifices. To kill a ram as an offering to God symbolized the release of the cosmic soul from the confines of matter. And this is something that is happening symbolically. So we are sacrificing something now in order to reach that golden fleece, to feel enlightened. And, it's not a coincidence that the sun is exalted in Aries. This is where the sun is invincible, in Aries, with the rams. And the glyph of Aries is showing us those horns of, and there are those curves that describe a bursting fountain of water, or the extended arms of descending being that embraces the earth, the soul of Ra, coming into world. So this is the symbol of the creative impulse of spirit at the moment of inception. So it's the ram or lamb of sacrifice. So this is the primal fire of Aries. The cosmic self, the spiritual fire, becomes locked in the present personality, so we can now unlock it and bring it to life. And this is the opening of the book of creation for us, so we can create and give birth to something new. Aries is called the light of life itself. So let's all give our best to bring that light of life itself, to bring something new to life, to be initiative, to be courageous, to be bold, to stand firm in who we are, to be able to understand that there is this most powerful relationship that we have, the relationship with who we are. I love you all and see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.